Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Well, it's dawn, but barely, so maybe I can do this for another week, and then that's it. It's going to be an overnight taste challenge just due to the becoming shorter here. But I have two North American rye whiskeys. This is Knob Creek Rye, nice little half-size bottle, which I got for an even nicer price, $6.99 in a discount basket at a local store. Knew that was a low price, so I bought two bottles. So that's $13.98 for a full amount, and it usually runs $28.99. So that's a deal. What a deal! Now I couldn't understand why it was so inexpensive. It seemed bizarre to me. But then I realized not long after that they had discontinued it and replaced it with Knob Creek 7-year rye and Knob Creek 10-year rye, and so they went to an age stated. They went to age stated offerings. Okay, I'm gonna put the age statement. Okay, here is Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye, and you get the traditional bag here, and the plastic cap. um, the older bottle design, they've updated the bottle designs over the last 2 years. They look sharp. The new ones. This is the molded glass, still fancy looking. Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye whiskey from it says rye whiskey, and then is it true? Oh, fine blend Canadian whiskey, 90% rye. I said 95%. I got it. Yeah, I 95. Oh well. Well, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of those um, MGPIs. That's got me thinking. Just a write up on the back. I can read all that. The rye grain is planted in the fall, sprouting until covered by a blanket of soft winter snow. So good right up there. And I found this at Discount Depot. Now you can find it around. Might have it. Winn Dixie might have it. Walmart might have it. I don't see it too much. Honestly, it's not really popular. I'm talking about Louisiana. It used to be a hot item, but Crown Royal is very popular in Louisiana. But just the standard. There's a handful of people that I know all around here that are black, but it's not too many. And other variants of Crown Royal, you get a person here or there. They don't move much. You get a lot of variants. Okay. The Royal flavors are popular, apple especially. Um, but standard Crown Royal is huge in Louisiana. It's always cases and cases and cases coming in for every weekend. It's amazing. But when this came out and it started showing up, I was like, yeah, one day I'm gonna, one day I'll check it out because I knew it was around for a few years, and I wasn't in any rush to get it. I was planning to buy it. So then I was at Discount Depot in Aurora, Louisiana, right there on United States Highway 90 business route. That's got the major highway in the western two highways that run out of that area, which to other parts of Louisiana. That's US 90 business route, and then 18, Louisiana Highway 18, which starts in Gretna, runs way up the river toward Baton Rouge. But anyway, along the levee, called the River Road because it's part of the Great River Road National Scenic Highway. Anyway, I was there at Discount Depot looking for other stuff. It's always an amazing place to visit. So I was like, oh, look at all this stuff, man. And I saw they had a display with like a throne, that distributors, they have this throne with a velvet cushion promotional. And they had these signs, Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy that. And then I saw the price. I'm going to buy that one day. I had to look again. I said $15.99. I couldn't understand it. That didn't seem right. I said $15.99 because I know this thing runs over $20, $25. So I said I gotta buy it for $15.99. Can't pass it up. So I bought it. AC says just saw your Natty Daddy review. Love it. Oh, thank you. Yep. Old Natural Father, introduced in 2011. The Natural Father. And yes, I did come up with that term. Now I see people all around the country saying Natural Father. Blame it on me. No, really, those things go, they spread, those little nicknames. But I was looking at this bottle one day and I was like, this bottle seems big. It just seemed big. So I looked carefully and I was like gasping. It's a liter bottle. So it's a double amazement. Oh, you're drinking this early? Natural Father, Natty Day. To find it for $15.99 is amazing and practically impossible. And don't think those bottles lasted long. They might have been gone in 2 days. Secondly, to have it in a liter bottle, and you don't really too much see Crown Royal liter bottles, maybe at a bar, because bars usually deal in liters. But in the store, right, if you go to the store, what you normally see? 750 milliliter, or you'll get the 1,750 milliliter, 1.75 liter. That's your standard. But and the half size, like this, that's common, right? But the liters are usually more in the liquor store, the bar rooms. But they had it so. It's amazing, honestly, to find this for that price. Crown Royal Apple, yep, that's the big one. That's one of the big ones around here, definitely. And I've never had it. I've never tried it. I'm sure it's fine. I've had Rich and Rare Apple, a cheap competitor from Sazerac, Rich and Rare Apple, which I found around close to New Orleans for $7.99, believe it or not. Very good product. If you like apples, I'm not really big on apples, honestly. Green apples, red apples, yellow, doesn't matter. I don't really like them, but it's obviously a green apple flavor. Well, I don't know why they use those for that, but they do. Apparently, they use green apples for apple pie also. Maybe they just have more bold flavor. But I have to stop. Oh, okay, you just around. Okay, now so it was like you would expect it should taste, though. Rich and Rare Apple tastes like apples, and a good version of it. And the Captain Morgan sliced apple, the rum base, that's very good. And the Seagram 7 apple is very good. So that's three winners. Three winners right there. None of them are really popular either. You see them around. Crown Royal Apple. I think Crown Royal Apple's in every liquor store in America, Canada, or the United States, and it's so popular. Okay, so obviously it must be good. And then they have their special edition apple, which is like $250. This super, I call it super apple. Okay, I'll show you the website. This is part of what they call the signature series, or the flagship, the main line. Naturally, the deluxe, also known as deluxe, they don't even know how to spell the product. You can see the label says deluxe space DE space Lux, but then they're listing it deluxe. So it's like, come on. Then the black, which has been around for over 30, no, 15 years, came out in 2010, I'm pretty sure. The strong version of Crown Royal, 90 proof. And then there's the Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye. Learn more. It's 90 proof, like the black, but it's 90% rye mash with flavorful and unique hints of oak, vanilla, and butterscotch. Create a smooth experience that's unmistakably Crown Royal. And there's the new fancy. What are the other grains? 10%. we don't know. Corn and barley, probably 5% corn, 5% barley. But we don't know that because they don't disclose it. You could guess. I don't know if it'll ever really get popular. It doesn't seem to be too popular. There's like I say, a handful of. That's probably why they had it on discount because they had a bunch of it. This is going to be such a hit, and it didn't really do much. They like sell it. I don't know. There's got to be a reason, right? But almost you would think they probably took a loss on that. Now, a store manager told me it's illegal in Louisiana to sell liquor, beer, wine, or liquor below cost. But I talked to a distributor, and he said, well, yes and no. He said that's the general belief. People believe that is. He said, but in actuality, you can sell it below cost for whatever price, theoretically, a penny. But then you can't sell it in that same store for a year. That's what he told me. He would know because he does it every day. He said you can't sell it in that same store for a year. That way you're not playing games trying to use predatory pricing and so forth, as they call it. But how they would actually track that and enforce it, I don't know. Do they actually enforce it? It does not seem to be the case, but that's on the books at least. Yeah, it's amber, copper, really. It's copper, yeah, copper. But, oh, that's the Knob Creek, I see. This is more amber gold. Okay, so I got to watch it. The Knob Creek is darker, so I'm going to have to close my eyes at this point, because if I look down and I see the darker, I'm going to know. But I'm going to know anyway. I'm going to tell you why, because Knob Creek is the champ in this series, the undisputed champ. It's undefeated, has not lost a tournament. I mean, hasn't lost a match in the tournament because the tournament's still going. It's clearly better than all the rest. And I think that's going to be the case today. And it's going to be the case for this weekend. I mean, tomorrow, Friday. Well, it's the beginning of the weekend, huh? Johnny Walker High Rye. Is it good? Yeah. I think it's really nice. My friend David wasn't too thrilled with it, but got to call it as you see it, right? But that's another one that you can get super cheap for some bizarre reason, but only at Walmart and maybe only in this town. You check all the liquor stores, they selling it for $35, $38, which is still low for Johnny Walker products, but here I go to Walmart. I'm looking and I'm saying, wait a minute, $19.99 for Johnny Walker High Rye, which has only been on the market, a few years. I have to check my record to see when, but it wasn't long ago. 2022, something like that. I bought it. Now I went back a few months later and they had raised the price to $20.27. So it jumped 28 cents and it's staying at that price. It's been holding at that price for over a year. And they got so much of it, which means what? Ain't nobody buying it, Oh, they buy Johnny Walker. Don't worry about that. Well, what Johnny Walker did they buy? Red, 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 a little bit of black and more red. Yeah, we get Johnny Walker variants and they don't really move. Maybe in a city like Houston, New Orleans, Miami, Florida, but around here, they put them on the shelf and that's where they stay. Too bad. Good for me because I got it for cheap. Bad for the company because it ain't moving. And around here and where I live, people do not like to branch out. I mean, there's a handful of beer fans that want to try every new thing. Okay. and they got their Facebook groups and everything. All right. But the vast majority of people around here, they get stuck in their brand and they don't deviate. They drink Bud Light and that's it. Or they'll drink Busch Light, very popular, and they don't move off that. They drink Crown Royal. Crown Royal. I've talked to Crown Royal drinkers. I said, you ought to try this black. Oh, what's that? Or this Johnny Walker drinkers. Try the rye. Oh, what's that? I've had people tell me, oh, I don't like that. I said, you've had it? No. Well, how you know you don't like it, but you never had it? That's the mindset. And bunny bread. Hooked on bunny bread. Which I like bunny bread. I see why they charge a lot for it because people will pay any price for it. It seems like they just want to never deviate. They don't deviate. I don't get it, but that's how that works. Okay, aroma wise, there's not a lot of difference and not a lot happening, honestly. Neither one of these is particularly aromatic. You can pick up a little rye whiskey, that minty, peppery spice, but it's just not much happening. I've noticed that this whole series ain't a whole lot of aroma. It just there's not. The taste is where it's at. Taste time. Cheers. Whoa. That choked me. That's the 100 proof. That's the Knob Creek Rye. It's got to be. Ain't no way that's a 90 proof. Got it. See, I don't even need to look at the tag. Look how dark it is. I don't need to look at the tag. I mean, I will just to make it official, but yeah. Knob Creek Rye. Rich, sweet, peppery, minty, oaky, charred oak. You know there's no flavoring added. There's no coloring added because it's a straight rye whiskey. You cannot add flavoring or coloring to a straight whiskey of any type. Corn, bourbon, wheat, rye. Can't add color. Now, Canadian whiskey, you can add coloring and flavoring to any Canadian blended whiskey. I'm not saying they're adding any coloring or flavoring to this Crown Royal. I'm not saying that they're not adding it. Most people that drink Crown Royal probably don't care if they're adding flavoring or coloring. They probably never thought about it, and it would be a meaningless fact to them. There's a little oak, honestly, here. A little oak, little char. No. They're not using charred oak. They do with the Crown Royal Black. That's one of the things they tout. But minty rye spice, a little. There's no nutty flavor though, really, like nut oil, like I got with that Canadian Hunter Rye or Hunter Rye 90. I'm not sure Sazerac even knows the official name of it because it's got two names on the label. Hunter Rye, three names. Hunter Rye. Then down below it says Canadian Hunter 90. And then on the side, they're calling it Canadian Hunter 90 proof and Canadian Hunter 90. I guess it got four names. And they trademarked the name Hunter. Found that out. They even had the date. It was like June 13th, 2013. They trademarked the name Hunter. And Canadian Hunter also trademark. It's nice. It's mild. It's mellow. More my type of thing. Is it better than the Hunter Rye? Not really. Even though it's a good deal more expensive. The regular price for Hunter Rye, the regular price, just the normal price, not on sale, was $11.99. There's your deal, right? And Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye is going to cost you a good deal more, and it's really not better. So I would just get naturally the Northern Harvest Rye. Now I can look up the current price, what they're selling Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye on Total Wine. I got a feeling I don't even carry it with it because Just doesn't move. Let's see, Crown Royal. See, nothing's coming up. Crown Royal comes up, but when you type in Northern, nothing pops up. I tell you what, that price for Crown Royal is holding steady. $45.99 for the handle. It actually on the back. I don't know if it's still there, but hey, I paid $4.95 at Walmart with two Crown Royal glasses years ago, not just last year, like years ago, and it was $1 less. Every time I look, there's a new Crown Royal. I mean, they come out with something new. It seems like every month. You can't accuse them of not. You can't accuse them of staying stagnant. Mm-mm. I'm not seeing. No, I'm not seeing it. I get a feeling, and there's even a Crown Royal single malt whiskey. It's like a single malt Scotch, but it's single malt Canadian whiskey, and it's going for $48.99, and that's a good deal. But it's kind of a rip off in a way because they're taking part of their. See what they do with that? They're taking one of the whiskeys that they blend to make the exquisite Crown Royal blend. They're taking one of those whiskeys and they're just bottling it and calling it single malt. So you're really paying more to get a piece of something. You say, well, that's clever. Yeah, it's clever. Tricky. Just like they might have a Crown Royal single grain, they might sell that. All they're doing is taking some grain whiskey that they use and bottling it, and like you're getting something special. Well, I guess it's special, but you're getting a piece. The Noble Barley 7, number 7, 5-year, is $71.99. But you can buy some expensive Crown Royals now. Yeah, so yeah, forget it. Northern Harvest Rye, they don't even sell it, which is telling me what? I don't think they're going to keep it much longer. I think before too long, you'll check the Crown Royal website. Northern Harvest Rye will be unlisted, except down for below on their website. They have a extensive library of their retired whiskeys. So I get the feeling that Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye is on the way to the same destination as their Crown Royal Bourbon Mash, later renamed Blender's Mash, being retired. Oh well. Because Total Wine & More is not some small outfit. They're all over the United States. We got one here, and then one in Baton Rouge, maybe in Shreveport. We got at least 2 in Louisiana, and that's a pretty extensive place. And if they're not selling it, and I bet you if I check Walmart, they're not selling it either, but they never really did. That's telling me it's getting yanked. And look, Total Wine, they'll show you every store in America that carries something like, so let's say I look up something and it's not carried in my local town. Fine. They'll say, but it's available and you can click, it'll say the next nearest store. And it might be Baytown, Texas, you see. That'd be the closest store. But they'll tell you, where they got it at these other stores. But if they don't have it across the board anywhere in the United States at Total Wine, you can figure, yeah, it's going. So, well, of course, like I've said earlier, it's not my problem. I got enough to last a lifetime, I think. Look how much I have. I got half the bottle. And I've had this thing for, 7 years, I think. Good long time. So it ain't going to be, by the time I get rid of the bottle, I'll be sick of looking at it. All right. So, it's quality. Can't argue about that. Can't argue about the quality, but it just doesn't have any appeal to people. That's pretty obvious. Oh, well. Every product people put out ain't going to move. 4 a.m. on the West Coast drinking at the crack of dawn. Yeah, well, I'm tasting. I wouldn't drink whiskey at the crack of dawn. I mean, that's a little crazy. Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Wow. Laughing out loud. I've seen it all. Cheers, says Matthew Lee. Yeah, well, I don't really actually. I don't honestly. I don't drink whiskey. Period. I just do these taste challenges. But people say you're lying. You come home from work. I bet you drink whiskey. Well, believe what you want. Doesn't matter. But if that was the case, you think these bottles would stay this full for that long? It's pretty obvious they wouldn't. I've told you I bought this thing 6 or 7 years ago, and I still got half the bottle. I just taste these things in a rotation. I go through a tournament, then I go to the next tournament. That's why it takes 10, 12 years to get rid of the bottle, or seems that long. Wings and y'all take care, everybody. So the clear and present winner, once again, Knob Creek Rye. I need to change the name to the Champ. Call it the Champ, the Champion. Now I have one last rye whiskey, unless I overlooked something, and I don't believe I did. One last rye whiskey, and it's from Scotland. So we went throughout the United States. We crossed the border and visited the Dominion of Canada. Now we're going to sail across the ocean to the Kingdom of Scotland. And I've got a rarity for sure, because you don't get too many rye whiskeys from Scotland. Maybe only one. Maybe only one. Johnny Walker High Rye. It was an attempt to do something different. Okay. So maybe it didn't really succeed, which is probably why Walmart's got bottles galore and ain't selling. They got bottles behind the counter. They got bottles in the cabinet. And I mean, those bottles look like they never move. Like it's always the same amount when you go there. And the price is always $20.27. And that's so low for now. If they sold Johnny Walker Red for $20.28, it'd be sold out in one day. One day, every bottle would be gone. Every bottle. Because it would be $3 cheaper, $4 cheaper. I think they could put a sign up that says, take it, it's free, and nobody would take it. Northern Harvest Rye. Well, I mean, one of these liquor stores would, and then they'd go sell it for $40. You know what I'm talking about? They'd come in there and say, oh yes, I want to buy all the I want to buy all of the bottles of the Johnny Walker High Rye. I do not trust these little convenience stores. I know a store, I ain't gonna say too much, but I know a store that sells sandwiches. They make sandwiches in the store and they sell it. Makes sense. A lot of stores do that. But if it's getting short, like, you got to sell that meat by a certain date. So if it's getting like, well, you got to sell it by today, they'll take a $4 sandwich, sell it for 99 cents because they got to throw it in the trash if they don't sell it. But I see this lady come in. Look like she might be from China. She has a thick accent. I'm watching this lady. She buying every discounted sandwich. Somebody say, you know what she's going to do? She's going to take it back to her convenience store and rip off the labels and relabel it for $5. And she'll leave it in there for another week, even though the best buy date was today. I said, that's crooked. Which is probably why I never buy any food items from any convenience store like that, especially these mom and pop. They always tell you, you should support the mom and pops. Yeah? Okay. You do that. All right, but y'all take care. And the champion, of course, Knob Creek, and then later, Friday, well, I might do it today for Friday because I got Fandango Friday tomorrow night, liquor or liqueur. And Johnny Walker ain't gonna win. Let's just face it, they're not gonna win. So you could skip that video if you want. Jay, I will give you a special recommendation. Maggali Korean white rice wine. The brand is Kuk Sundong. Well, I'd try it, but we do get some Korean. Actually, we do get a good amount of Korean products. So get that soju, but it's expensive. Yeah, I might try it, if I see it around. We do get some crazy items around here. All right, y'all take care now. Bye-bye.